As the clock strikes midnight, the Dreadfleet sails forth, its undead captains eager to slake their unholy thirst. The warships of the damned emerge from the banks of sulphurous fog, illuminated only by the flicker of pallid ghost lights. They draw closer with a sickening slowness of a nightmare. Suddenly, the uneasy murmur of the open sea is split by the thunderous roar of cannon batteries. A low moaning can be heard in the distance, issuing from 1,000 ragged throats, a haunting sound that is punctuated by the barks of orders of unliving commanders. For 2 bleak decades, the undead reavers of Count Noctilus have plagued oceans of this world. After each raid, the Dreadfleet disappears into its lair as quickly and as silently as it appeared, far from the reach of man. And yet, there remains hope. Captain Jago Roth has vowed to hunt down and destroy Count Nautilus and his undead captains once and for all. With him sail the most notorious and cunning of the pirate lords of Sartosa, each born to battle upon a giant warship bristling with cannons, organ guns, and bow throwers. At the stroke of midnight on Geheimnisnacht, the most forsaken of all nights, the Heldenhammer, her companions sail into the realm of undeath, known as the Galleon's Graveyard. One by one, Count Noctis and his vile allies moving to stop them. The toll of an ancient bell rings out as if in a mocking welcome.
And with that intro out of the way, welcome to this game of Dreadfleet. Now, we're not playing in a particular game scenario, it's a simple annihilation mission. And right before you can see the seascape. Now, we'll be playing on the right and left side from the camera's angle, and we got a couple islands just dominating the center to break up the central engagement a little bit. Now, to have a look at the fleets. It's a little bit difficult since Dreadfleet doesn't really have a point system. I came up with this. Having a look at the Grand Alliance right here, we got the Sea Drake being the specialist fast ship, and the Swordfish being a line ship. And we also got the Heldenhammer acting as the flagship, being the strongest one, and Grimney's Thunder acting as the Dreadnought, or the tougher ship. Having a look at the Dreadfleet, we've got the Black Kraken, the Shade Wraith. The Shade Wraith being the stronger, so to speak, Dreadnought kind of ship, mainly because it's half real and really hard to hit. We've also got the Bloody Reaver acting as the flagship, and the Scabrous being the line ship. This is the attempt to make it somewhat equal. Now to have a look at the deployment. The Dreadfleet did get the first turn since they deployed it first, and they also made the roll-off. Now, I was playing the Dreadfleet and I pushed them a little bit more to the center. I wanted to have a concentrated firepower. And as you can see, the Scab still left the Bloody Reaver on his right side, and to the right side of him, the Black Kraken. To the right side of the Black Kraken, we've got the Shade Wraith. Kind of simple, I wanted the strongest units in the middle. Now, having left the Grand Alliance, he had another idea in mind, having the Swordfish and Sea Drake on the left side, and having the Heldenhammer and Grimney's Thunder on the right side. I do believe his intent here was to create a pincer move. Personally, I think that's a bit of a mistake, seeing as you kind of need to gang up in Dreadfleet in order to actually damage someone. But with that said, first turn goes to the Dreadfleet, being the first activation. The fate card for this turn was the Hellfish one, being a bit of a buff to the Bloody Reaver. The Dreadfleet activation was kind of simple. I used the Shade Wraith to kind of tank shock the enemy, doing a full speed ahead maneuver and dashing in front to try to entice him to fire off his first few rounds into the Shade Wraith, which is harder to hit. Kind of a Flames of War move. The Grand Alliance Fate card was sadly a little bit less useful, seeing as no one has really taken any damage. The Grand Alliance decided to activate the Heldenhammer, moving up and ordering fire as she bears, basically giving them overwatch against any incoming fire. And he's just getting into position with his flagship at this point. The Dreadfleet decided to activate the Bloody Reaver. It moved up, ordered the fire as she bears command, and pivoted a little bit. Now, instead of opening fire to waste the first round being a little bit more, having a more firepower, I used the Hellfish Swarm rule, which issues a close combat assault against the preferred target, which caused a keel damage. The Grand Lines activated the Grimner's Thunder, and he issued the full speed ahead order. He did not decide to fire just yet, just holding his fire and probably getting into position to cause more damage on my chips. The Dreadfleet activated the Scabbers, who moved up, pivoted, and opened fire with warp lightning cannons that ignore armor against the Grimner's Thunder. Being raking fire, I landed all 3 hits, ignoring the armor, causing 1 hull damage, a chain explosion, and damage to his waterline. So that was a pretty hefty toll in the beginning. The Grand Lines activated the Sea Drake, who issued the full speed ahead, causing a whopping 26-inch move, firing a partial broadside at the Shade Wraith, however only getting 1 shot, and he missed the target. The Dreadfleet activated the Black Kraken, attempting to issue the Fire of Chimeras order, failing, at least moving up, pivoting a little bit, and firing at the Grimner's Thunder, only hitting one time, but it didn't do any damage whatsoever thanks to his armor save. The Grand Lines activated the Swordfish, moving up 17 inches due to the full speed ahead trait, but he did not cause any damage. This is probably just fulfilling his pincer move on my fleet. Now moving into turn 2. This is the Dreadfleet Fate card, and of course it has to rain skulls. Starting off with the Dreadfleet activation, the Scabbers activated and does not have to move since it's not a sail class warship, firing 3 raking shots at Grimner's Thunder, passing the armor saves since it ignores armor, and actually killing it due to the causing 2 hull damage and 1 speed damage. So that is actually 1 ship down for the count. Now, the Grand Alliance Fate card decided to fuck up my Black Kraken with the Curse of the Undead Merit. The Grand Alliance activated Hellenhammer, and he caused a raking fire upon the Scabbers, causing 3 damage, and then rushing into close combat with the Bloody Reaver, causing 2 damage, and the Sigma Right Hammer on the front decided to damage its wheel. We'll have a look at the damages about now. The Scabbers, as you can see, 1 hull damage, the head gunner got killed, and the rigging is damaged. As for the Blood Reaver, the captain has been damaged by 1 time, it's set ablaze, we have fire on deck, and the wheel is damaged. The Dreadfleet activated the Blood Reaver Strike Back, shooting at the Heldenhammer, raking it, and also issuing a repair order to put out the fires on deck. Now, the damage is going to be a bit of a mess here, but in close combat, he did lose the first mate. However, in return, he did cause some damages upon the Heldenhammer, being mostly the figurehead and a magazine explosion, also killing a crew member. Not enough to kill him, but it's a start. The Grand Alliance activated the Swordfish, who rammed the Shade Wraith, firing upon it but not hitting anything. The only damage that was succeeded was the Shade Wraith losing a hull point from the Swordfish. The Dreadfleet activated the Black Kraken, moving up and issuing the hard starboard, or was the hard port, issuing the hard turn order, firing at the Heldenhammer, causing a hull damage and a speed damage. Into the close combat, he did get a very good roll with the tentacles, smashing a lot on the Heldenhammer. However, as you're going to see here, the Black Kraken did suffer a lot of wounds to his captain. 2 wounds to be exact. Looking at the Heldenhammer, the wounds are really piling up on him right now. The Grand Alliance activated the Sea Rake, who did a hard turn order and basically did a U-turn, attacking the Shade Wraith in the rear, causing 2 speed damages and not much else, seeing as he can't really fire upon him. And I think this was kind of fortunate for me, seeing as this was part of my plan, trying to bait him into attacking the Shade Wraith. It's a bit of a sacrifice though. Now having a look at the Dreadfleet turn, activating the Scabbers, firing a raking fire onto the Heldenhammer, causing 2 damage, as well as putting out the fire cast upon him due to a repair order. Look at the Heldenhammer's damages right now. I caused 2 speed damage and a crew damage. Now having a look at the third turn's Fate card, slowing down any sail warship. The Dreadfleet decided to start off by activating the Blood Reaver, firing into the Heldenhammer, and in the close combat combined with the Black Kraken, causing a lot of crew damage, which in the end actually finished off the Heldenhammer. This is the problem, I think, with diverting your forces. Now since I managed to crush 2 of his ships, as you can see here, 6 crew damage is enough to kill him. So I think my diversion tactic was sending out the Shade Wraith, and he actually took that bait, helped me a lot, because that led 2 ships away from my main engagement, so to speak. It may have costed me the Shade Wraith, but I say it's still worth it, seeing as he took the bait and I broke his pincer maneuver in a pretty harsh manner. Now the Grand Lion's turn 3 Fate card is practically a repair order because that spell does not matter. The Grand Lions activated the Swordfish. The shots completely missed, however in close combat they did destroy the sails of the Shade Wraith as well as causing a crew damage. The Fate card was used as a repair order to repair a hull damage. Dreadfleet activation was pretty simple. I simply submerged the Black Kraken to get into a proper position to take care of the problems turning up on my right flank. The Grand Lions activated the Sea Drake, causing another crew damage in close combat. And that was pretty much it. He's being a bit horribly outnumbered and bogged down. The Dreadfleet activated the Scabrous, trying to move across on the left side of the castle in the middle, failing due to the full speed ahead order being fucked up. So he moved on the right side, fired a breaking shot into the Sea Drake, causing 2 damages, killing the ship's mascot and causing a hull damage. The Dreadfleet activated the Shade Wraith. He couldn't fire because of a listing damage. He charged into close combat, however failing pretty horribly, and now we're about to have a look at the damages. He is adrift, he has a hull damage, 2 crew damage, the captain has 2 wounds, and he is also listing, so 1 more crew damage and he's out. Turn 4 Fate card is simply a powder ship given to the Dreadfleet. The Dreadfleet activated the Blood Reaver, deploying its powder ship cog, firing 2 shots at the Sea Drake. As you can see here, he caused 2 crew damage. Now the little ship in the middle over there is the powder ship cog moving into position. Having a look at the Fate card for 4th turn of the Grand Lions is Incendiaries, basically a bonus. The Grand Lions activated the Swordfish, who did not choose to fire the Incendiaries at the Shade Wraith, seeing as it is kind of a waste when you hit on 6s. He did miss his shot, so it's probably a good call. However, in the close combat, he did finish off the last crew members on the Shade Wraith, actually killing it for good. It's kind of hard to imagine killing a ghost ship, but here we go. 3 crew damage, and the Shade Wraith is down. That is the first kill for the Grand Lions. The Swordfish, in return, had its 1 hull point damaged. The Dreadfleet activated the Black Kraken, moving up in a U formation, doing the hard port turn. Firing a broadside against the Sea Drake, causing no damage, however rolling quite well with the tentacles, causing 5 assaults against it. Now, that was enough to strip it of its hull points, which indeed killed it in the end. Now, not really a surprise, seeing as he had 1 crew member versus my 5. And we're about to have a look at its final breath right here. As you can see, 3 hull damage, he's down with the count, and 6 speed damage, 2 crew damage. That means the Grand Lions is down to 1 ship against 3. The Grand Lions activated the Swordfish, the last living ship, committing a bit of a tactical blunder as he had to move a minimal amount, causing him to crash into a rock, losing a hull point. He did fire incendiary ammo against the Black Kraken, causing a hull point on him though, so I guess it's somewhat even. The Dreadfleet activated the Scabrous, firing a Warp Lightning broadside at the Swordfish, just being barely able to see him, causing a hull damage. Now to have a look at it, he's down to 1 hull point and 2 crew. Rolling to the 5th Dreadfleet turn. And we get a fire ship. It's really going downhill from here. The Dreadfleet activated the Bloody Reaver and his tiny little brother ship, the Mini-Me. It moved up and did not make contact, sadly, with the Swordfish. It fired a broadside, raking fire into the rear, causing 3 hull damages. That's overkill as fuck. But that also means the Swordfish is dead. Like, real dead. As you can see, his hull damage is completely drained. And that is the final breath of the Grand Lions. Now, having a look at the game in hindsight, I think what damned him the most was probably his idea of the pincer move. I tried to gather my forces into one more powerful punch, although I did sacrifice the Shade Wraith. It was not my original intention. However, seeing as he deployed his ships in a pincer move, that actually worked out for the better. He took the bait, And the Shade Wraith is kind of hard to kill, seeing as it's only half really overhit it on 6s. And that kept 2 of his ships, half of his fleet really, distracted for long enough that I could kill the other 2 tougher ships with the 3 ships that I had there. And after that, the other 2 ships was kind of just piecemeal. So that was probably what damned him, as well as a lot of bad dice rolling. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around next time.